everyone, I just wanted to show you our craft room. It's a real mess now because during the week we just do all our projects and we enjoy ourselves, but on the weekend we always have a really good tidy up. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to tidy up and put everything away, make sure everything's clean, and then we can start our new week fresh. Hope you'll come and join me. So this is where I do most of my filming and do most of my work, on this table here. So this is just what I've just brought in now. I've been to the charity shop and bought a load of stuff, and I went to Poundland and bought a load of stuff. This is my craft room, so it's not a kitchen. So it is really messy at the moment. So we're just going to come over here. This is my platform I use. So I put my camera like this onto the platform when I'm filming, so I find that's a really good place, but it is just a piece of wood held on by my old sewing machine. Along the window we have a load of mess as well. I just shove things out up there out the way to put them out the way. I've got a sink in this room, which is good, and this is all the stuff which I'm going to be working on. So all this now needs to be, most of that is just going to stay there, but all this needs to be packed away. This is all stuff which I've been using during the week, and all that's stuff I've been using during the week. Dolls' clothes, which needs to go back on some of the dolls because they've got their Halloween outfits on, so that needs to go away. My magazines usually live there anyway. I do also do canning in this room, not that you can believe it, but yeah. And I've got some lovely cups I've just bought for my son. They need to go away. That's for a Christmas present. All this stuff here came off my ironing board. That's my sewing stuff which I use all the time, so again that needs to go. My pastels came off my desk. I use them all the time. These are some of my tools, and they just go away in the back of the cupboard. So when you're putting things away, you need to be really careful, because look, that was sticking off and I could have easily put my hand on it. I've got a bit of pattern there out, that needs to go away. I was playing around with, these are more tools. This just sort of lives here when I'm not canning and doing stuff like that. This needs to go back up into the doll's room. As you can see, I've got my printer here, and I have my batteries for my lights and my camera just there, and I use you can see there's a couple of cans. I'm cutting those up. I've been cutting those up to make metal things with. And this is where I keep all my scrapbook paper and all my papers down there. And then I have some foam board here, and in behind I have trays full of all different coloured cards. And then you can see it's a right mess up there. We've been to see Harry Potter, so I've got that bag and I want to cut that up to make some scrapbook paper. And we've got some other bits and pieces of stuff. That's all my crochet in there, and this is where I keep all my boards at my cutting guillotines, so they get cut there. And then if you come around here, this side of the room is usually kept quite neat and tidy, but at the moment we've just got some Halloween things just popped onto the top there. These boxes I need to go back up because I was using those to store to lift up my wood when I was making that. I've got my press in here as well, my clothes press, which I do use for pressing my clothes. And then obviously I had the workmate when I was working on making the doll's house. And then we've got another set of drawers, and in these drawers I keep all the stuff which we're going to be doing, all my stuff to do with my cameras and everything, and all the stuff we're going to be doing over the next few weeks are kept in there. There's the house I've been building, and I'm going to use that almost like a film set, hopefully, once I can start getting the bits together. And then my sewing machine does actually live down here underneath my ironing board because it's sort of quite protected under there. And then I've got my polymer clay in there, and then in the back I've got all my painting tools and stuff like that, which I use for when I'm doing painting and things like that. So as you can see, it's a real mess. So now I'm going to go about tidying up my room, putting everything away, and I think it's really important that you do that once a week. I have my board here, And then once a week, as you can see, it gets really messy, so I would go over this and give it a good clean. You can see all the dirt and stuff which is coming off it, so that'll get a good clean. I'll make sure I do that. And then also when I'm sewing, I use my starch, and quite often, as you can see, my iron gets bits of starch and that on it, so I always make sure I give it a proper clean once a week, just to make sure that's all sorted out. I have to put away all these tools. No, not all of these tools live in this room, but they will be going back into where they actually belong. Some of them have come from my husband's shed, but most of them are mine, because I have my own saws and that, which he doesn't use, just to sort of make sure that they don't get damaged. Okay, so I will check out all the saws and that. Things like the blades on the saws and that, I always turn them around the other way, so that when they're being stored, they're not actually got the blades facing down where they could get nicked or damaged. And I've also got with my big saw a plastic piece which goes along it to keep it safe. Okay, so I'm going to just start now tidying up, and then I will come back and show you the room once I've tidied. So I'm just finishing tidying my room. So as you can see, this is the area where my press is, and it's reasonably tidy now. I've got all my bits and pieces in together. I've done the house. This is going to be my new studio where I do most of my filming for the dolls, if it's just dolls. I've got that mat in there because I want to do a bit of a film for Halloween, and those are going to be the floor tiles which we're going to use in there. Over here, this is where all my stuff goes for what I'm going to be working on projects each week. Tidied up underneath my ironing board, cleaned off the top of my ironing board completely, although there's a little bit of cotton on there. Okay, made my list of stuff, so I'm thinking on what I'm going to be wanting to do next. Tidied up all my area over here, so all my paper and everything's tidy. This is where I keep all my rolls of paper and sticky back plastic over there, and this is all my paper section here. And then my printer's nice and tidy. All my stovetop area is nice and tidy. My magazines are all tidied up. Both my mats have been cleaned, and everything is back in the window where it lives. Just got to do the sink, last thing to do, and then all of this has been tidied up, although I couldn't get all the tapes back into the drawer, so I'm going to have to find somewhere else to put them. So that's all that side of it done. Put all my sewing stuff has gone back into my basket, and my Velcro and my elastic is just on the table, and there are all my boards. I don't actually use this ironing board for ironing my clothes. I use the press for my clothing. The ironing board is just for when I'm doing quilting or sewing. So that's everything finished. I'll just pan you around so you can see the room as it goes. Now I'm really lucky because I've got a complete craft room to myself, but you know, I'm a lot older, so I've actually waited years to have something like this. I've worked for years and years and years on just this piece of board with those trays underneath, and I had it tucked in the corner of my bedroom, and I had a lovely cloth which I would put over the top of it. My sewing machine would sit down the side on one side like that, and then I'd have another box on the other side which stored, I had a little tiny ironing board which you could put on top of the table, and I had just a few bits and pieces which wouldn't fit into these drawers, which would just sit down the side, and that was it. And I did manage with that for years and years and years. So you know, with just a few boxes, you don't have to have boxes like this. You can just get boxes and stack them one on top of the other, you know, and do it like that. But I mean, I was very lucky. This came from my school where I used to teach at, and it was stuff which was being thrown out, so, and I bought extra trays and that sort of thing. So yeah, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed this.